Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking the absolute ultimate survival kit for guiding your kids through the modern money maze. Look, as a parent, you are in the perfect position to shape your child's financial future. But let's be totally honest here. Talking to kids about money, it can feel completely overwhelming. I mean, we go to school to learn how to make money, but where on earth are the classes on how to actually handle it responsibly? Well, today, we're going to fix that. We are breaking down a parent's guide to how money works for kids, and we're going to transform those really scary financial realities into simple, actionable lessons that you can literally start teaching today. So let's start with this number, 25,600. That staggering figure right there, that represents the amount of commercials the average child between the ages of 2 and 11 sees every single year. Just take a second and really think about that. Over 25,000 times a year, companies are launching a massive marketing siege on their financial attention, desperately trying to convince your kids that they need their products. When you realize just how many outside forces are vying for your child's focus, it's pretty terrifying, right?
And honestly, this is the terrifying result if we don't actively step in and guide them. Right now, the average American household is sitting on nearly $16,000 in credit card debt. And to make matters worse, over half of Americans couldn't even come up with $400 in cash for a random emergency expense. We're living in a world where debt is just spiraling out of control. And if we don't equip our kids with the right tools, they are walking right into this exact same trap.
Okay, let's dive into why this happens, because avoiding the conversation is exactly why the average college student today graduates into the adult world with over $35,000 of debt. Over a quarter of parents don't even think it's important to include kids in family finance discussions, and 41% avoid the money talk completely. But here's the thing, if you aren't teaching your kids long-term money management skills, someone else definitely is. And usually, it's those advertisers we just talked about.
To combat this without, breaking the bank or completely losing your mind, we're structuring our approach into 4 distinct actionable pillars to help you act as your child's financial guide. We've got Pillar 1, modeling good money habits. Pillar 2, earning and budgeting basics. Pillar 3, becoming a smart shopper. And Pillar 4, credit and investing 101.
All right, let's jump right into Pillar 1, modeling good money habits. Before we even utter the words bank account or allowance, we kind of have to look in the mirror. Kids are like sponges. They absorb our financial anxieties and habits long before they have a single dollar to their own name. You can't exactly preach financial peace while you're aggressively cutting coupons and complaining about the electric bill, right? You have to model the behavior. Decide what attitudes you want your kids to have and then actually exhibit them yourself. A really huge one is paying yourself first. The overall personal savings rate in the US is currently a pretty dismal 5.3%. If you want your kids to be savers, they literally have to see you saving. You also need to show them how to rein in credit so they don't view a plastic card as free money. And just as importantly, you need to model a habit of giving to charitable causes to encourage them to be socially minded.
Now, every kid makes money mistakes, but we can actually turn these into financial mastery early on. For example, does your child constantly lose their cash? Well, the money smart fix is to set up a secure bank account or dole out their allowance in smaller, more frequent amounts. Or maybe they tend to hoard their money and absolutely refuse to buy gifts for anyone else. That's when you explain that money itself isn't valuable. It's what it allows us to do and share that actually holds the value.
Moving right along, let's get into Pillar 2, earning and budgeting basics.
So, now that we've set the foundation with our own habits, let's look at how kids manage their own cash. The absolute best place to start is for your children to have money of their own to make choices with. This helps them distinguish between what they want and what they actually need. If you give an allowance, how you physically hand it over matters a ton. For younger kids, if you're giving, say, a $6 allowance, don't just hand them a $5 bill and a 1. No, give it to them in 5 ones, 2 quarters, and 5 dimes. Why? Because it physically allows them to easily split that money into different buckets for spending, saving, and giving to charity. It builds that budgeting muscle memory right into the physical act of getting paid. It's brilliant.
Now, if you have older kids who are looking to earn some extra cash beyond just their regular chores, definitely encourage that entrepreneurial spirit, but guide them through these 5 steps instead of just letting them blindly start a lawn mowing hustle that ends up going bankrupt by Tuesday. Have them actually map out a business plan. Tell them to check the market. Like, is there already a landscaping crew working on your street? Have them plan their advertising. Help them understand local tax laws. You see, this isn't just about making some extra cash over the summer. It's about developing excellent business habits they're going to use for the rest of their lives.
And of course, the whole point of earning is saving, so you need a way to make saving exciting for kids. Enter the rule of 72. This is an incredible shortcut to show exactly how long it takes money to double at different interest rates. You simply divide 72 by the interest rate, so if you earn 6%, your money doubles in 12 years. Over 48 years, a $10,000 investment at 3% grows to $40,000. But at 12%, it literally explodes to over $2.5 million. Let me tell you, showing this to a teenager completely changes how they view putting away money for the future.
Okay, let's transition to pillar 3, becoming a smart shopper. We really need to talk about how money leaves the pocket and how to defend against all that clever retail psychology. Don't just tell your kids to compare prices. You've got to take them to the grocery store and physically show them how the game is played. Have them look at the unit cost sticker right there on the shelf. In this example, the superior brand cake mix might look fantastic, but it's 14 cents per ounce. The generic brand sitting right next to it, only 10 cents per ounce. That is 4 cents cheaper for every single ounce for a product that works just as well. Teaching them unit cost is basically giving them financial x-ray vision.
And get this. Companies purposely package products so you just assume the economy size is the better value. But bigger is definitely not always better. Look closely at this one. The 12-ounce can of green beans costs 8 cents an ounce, while the giant 20-ounce quote-unquote economy can costs 9 cents an ounce. The smaller can actually offers a better unit cost. If your kids learn to spot these sneaky retail tricks now, they are going to save thousands over their lifetimes.
We also have to address the giant elephant in the middle school hallway, brand names. If you give your child a $30 budget for a practical pair of jeans, but they insist on the $50 brand name label, you need to introduce them to the cost of cool. The value of the jeans as actual clothing is $30. That extra $20, that is purely the cost of looking cool. If they want it, hey, that's totally fine, but they must use their own savings to cover that $20 difference. Suddenly, that brand name doesn't seem quite so essential when it's their own hard-earned cash on the line.
Finally, we've made it to pillar 4. Credit and Investing 101.
We are officially at the ultimate financial boss fights of young adulthood. First up, the illusion of minimum payments. This is the absolute biggest trap of invisible money like credit cards. Let's say they buy a $500 tablet on a card with an 18% interest rate. If they only make a $25 monthly payment, it takes them 2 full years to pay it off, and that $500 tablet ends up costing nearly $600. Showing them the raw math of exactly how interest works against them is the absolute best vaccine against future credit card debt.
But on the flip side, we want interest working for them, right? To build real wealth instead of debt, teach them to align their financial goals with the right investment vehicles based on the time frame. If they're saving for summer camp next month, well, that's immediate. Put it in a secure savings account. If they're saving for a first car in a few years, that's short term, so look into bonds. And if they're investing for college or way beyond, that's long term. That is where growth investments like stocks make the absolute most sense to ride out the market and build serious, life-changing wealth.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a critical question to just kind of chew on before your next trip to the grocery store or your next dinner table conversation. What money legacy are you passing down today? Because remember, if you aren't actively teaching your kids how to master their money, the rest of the world is waiting right there to teach them how to lose it. You have the power, right now, to help your children avoid those common money mistakes. By modeling good habits, teaching them to budget, showing them how to shop smart, and explaining credit and investing, you are giving them the ultimate survival kit. Thank you so much for joining me, and here's to raising a whole generation of money-smart kids.